Bedtime for Little Bulldozer by Elsie Broach, and illustrated by Barry Jackson. Little Bulldozer was finally ready for bed. He'd taken a bath with help from his mother. He'd brushed his teeth with help from his father, and together they had checked all of his fluid levels. I think that means he went to the bathroom. Now his mother and father kissed him and hugged him and said goodnight. Time for bed, they told him. He tried his best to go quietly up the stairs. Vroom, vroom. Little Bulldozer was all ready for bed. There was just one problem. He wasn't sleepy at all. He was too hot, so he used his blade to push off his covers. Then he thought he heard something under the bed, so he decided to have a look. Creak! Bump! Phew! There was nothing underneath except his stuffed animals. Little Bulldozer's mother and father came running into the room. "Little Bee," they cried. "What happened? You should be asleep." They helped Little Bulldozer fix his bed. Then they kissed him and hugged him and said goodnight. Little Bulldozer lay in the dark, quiet room. He still wasn't sleepy. In fact, he was a little chilly, so he shoveled his stuffed animals on top of his bed, making it comfy and cozy. Good. Now he was warm again, but he still wasn't the least bit sleepy. He turned on his headlights and found a book to read. Luckily, it was his favorite book. The Little Engine That Could. That's his favorite book, see? Honk, honk, honk. It was such a good book that Little Bulldozer got very excited and honked his horn a few times. His mother and father rushed into the room. "Little Bee, that's too loud. Why aren't you asleep yet?" He was thirsty, so they gave him some oil. His cab was cold, so they put on his nightcap. Then they kissed him and hugged him and said goodnight. Little Bulldozer lay in the dark, quiet room, still not sleepy. He could hear his mother and father in the living room. He decided to tiptoe downstairs to see what they were doing. Crunch, bang, wham! Oh, he's going for a tumble down the stairs. They weren't as happy to see him as he had hoped. "Little Bee, it's time for bed," said his mother. "No more stalling," said his father. Little Bulldozer lay in the dark, quiet room. He tried to go to sleep. He really did. But something still wasn't quite right. He was lonely. Suddenly, he knew exactly what to do. He scooped up his blanket and his stuffed animals and rumbled down the hall until he came to the room where his sisters were sleeping. He cleared a place for himself on the floor. And there, in the safe, crowded dark, to the hum of his own engine, Little Bulldozer fell asleep. The end.